my guiding principles from the beginning of this project for Till We Make It was that the material should be as evergreen as possible. That if someone were to watch these videos 20 years from now, it would be as relevant or irrelevant then as they are right now. And to that end, I have always tried to go out of my way to make sure that the material as presented felt evergreen. But it's almost impossible for me to continue on without acknowledging what's happening right now here. As I've been here for a little while now, waiting for quiet on Wingate Street, which is a relative term, there have been explosions literally right outside our door. For the 6th or 7th night in a row, the city of Philadelphia, where I am standing right now, will be under curfew. A city of 6 million people will be under curfew. And what made me appreciate the fact that maybe I have to talk about this is, even as I made the turn to get here to come over the Ashburner Bridge, I had to quickly get out of the way of an oncoming military vehicle, this giant black Jeep-looking thing that had maybe 8 or 10, I'm guessing, National Guardsmen all geared up, hanging out the back. They were racing past me to go somewhere. There are more damaging storms coming to the area. Members of my Russell family have been without power for several days, and although power has been restored here in this building where I am right now, the storms, which are an hour or two away, are expected to bring more high-speed winds, which mean more trees are going down, bringing down power lines with them, and soon we may not have power here inside the Russell factory. So all of these things are kind of weighing on my mind. There were 2 days this week where 2 of the major roadways in and out of Philadelphia were closed. So for a variety of circumstances, this week's content on Till We Make It has not been at all what I expected it to be, including this video that I am hurriedly trying to make for you now before I feel like responsibly I've got to get out of here in advance of the storms coming, and certainly before the curfew is imposed. So a lot of that has been on my mind, and it seems impossible to go on without at least talking about that for a moment. In addition to which, there is, the larger matter at hand. There is the widespread national unrest, which has persisted now for just over a week. And I want to just share with you some of the process of what we've had going on here. Internally, you may have heard me discuss in the past, right? My team is about 100 people. There's about 100 voices, give or take. And we've been trying to imagine what is going to be our response to the shift that's going on culturally and societally. Should we be putting a message out? Do people even want to hear from us right now? Is it important that certain voices within our own team take the lead on this while others of us hang back to hear what they have to say? And then, upon even crafting a message, which we did earlier this week, there's been some discussion about, is this message really the right thing? There are people that feel like, yes, this is a compassionate message. There are others who feel like this message is too diluted. What feels right to us? If we put this message out, what is the right action to take? Does the action mean that we are trying to donate money to a certain cause? Is that appropriate? Is there some other type of action that is more true to who we are? And what's also responsible, given that this is a small business that has largely been shuttered for the last 3 months now? Is it more important that we try to pay our electric bill once again than it is that we attempt to come off as charitable while the whole world really feels upside down and engulfed by rage and hostility? And a lot of it seems to be channeled very positively, right? It's about having a conversation that is long overdue here in the United States of America. Not to say that that's not important globally, but I feel very in tune with what's happening right now in my city and in my state and in my country. As someone who once wrote in my second book, Headquarters, which came out a week after the September 11th attacks, the timing of that release wasn't the greatest. I've never been famed for my timing, by the way. I wrote in that book, I've never felt exceptionally patriotic. I don't know that a lot of the things that it felt like my country represented then are the same things that I value. It feels really weird now, almost 20 full years removed from when I wrote those words, to have to look back on them and appreciate the way in which I've changed as a person and the way that I've grown. And the process of going from being someone who was a 20-something then to being a 40-something now, from being someone who felt like he had relatively no voice in the conversation to being the leader of a giant group that is struggling to speak as one, even though 100 diverse voices are trying to make sure that their opinion is heard. You might be going through something like this, like what we are going through here. Maybe not. Maybe what you're going through feels really different. But I don't doubt that this idea has sparked up in your brain over the last couple of days, the way that it has come up recurringly for me. How relevant is professional wrestling in moments like these? And I know many of you tune into this channel because you're looking for answers, you're looking for solutions, you're looking for insights. And I want to be really frank about this moment in time as I'm standing here feeling like I'm rushing to get this thing out to you, which doesn't feel good to me at all. I don't know that I have a bunch of answers, solutions, or ideas for you today about that. Is it important that we allow people to have a place to escape to, even for narrow slivers of time? It is, because I know feeling like I'm in the eye of the storm right now, if you feel like you're in the eye of your personal storm, or the storm that's engulfing your community or your region right now, I think we all know what that's like, that need to feel like we are escaping from it so that we can regain perspective, maybe even a degree of objectivity, because when we're in the thick of things, we lack that perspective at times. It's difficult to regain that perspective. And I know that in the midst of all of this, it can feel very easy to just want to throw in the towel and just forget about it, quit. I've been at war with those same feelings. For maybe the last week or so, I've just stopped looking at social media entirely. Like I can't engage there. I don't like the way it makes me feel, even as I'm watching the app opening on my device. That wave that overcomes me, I think, is this helping me be in a good place for me? In a larger sense, is that good for the team of people that I lead? And I felt like I can't have any more of this right now in my life. But if you feel like I can't do anything right now, I'm paralyzed by what's going on, you're paralyzed by the conditions, you're paralyzed by indecision, you're paralyzed by a purposelessness. And that can be heightened when we feel isolated. We feel either alone or loneliness. And those are different things, right? You can be alone and not feel overcome with loneliness. And purposelessness is something that really gets to me. As someone who could rightly be called a workaholic at times, so much of my personal worth and identity is wrapped up in my work. When my work is not being well received, then it is a direct reflection on me. That is how I interpret it. That's the downside to being a workaholic. There are some upsides to it. I don't think I'm going to stop to try and outline those now while I feel like there's a bomb that's been lit and it's, quite literally, maybe in this case, waiting to go off. I know I'm saying that kind of jokingly, but a lot of times that's just what I do to kind of break the tension. I deploy my sense of humor as a defensive mechanism, knowing that less than 48 hours ago, this really did happen. Can you imagine if you ever pulled up to a stoplight and there was someone there selling bottles of water or stoplight roses or whatever, right? There's a vendor who's out there trying to make a quick buck, standing at the traffic light while all the cars have come to a halt. There was someone in this city who was selling quarter sticks of dynamite to people like that. Who was arrested, obviously. I'm not trying to foist that upon you as a viable career choice. But as it relates to explosives and where I am, maybe that hits a little too close to home right now. Let's put that weird tangent aside, because there is no second take today. This is it. It's going out unpolished and unvarnished to you just like this. If you are feeling purposeless, like you want to throw the towel in, like now is the best time ever to just curl up into a ball and ignore the world, one, I empathize with that, because throughout the last week especially, I bet you I've had bouts with each of those exact things. And I want you to know that your voice does matter, that what you do or what you make does matter. Even if in this exact second you might think, is it irrelevant? Does anyone want to hear from me? Am I better off just checking out from what is going on? If you feel like that, I want to offer you this today. Persist. Just try. You might go to make something like a video, a message that you want to put out there into the world, something that you've got to create just to stay viable. Persist. Try. Know that you may not get it exactly right, and know that there might be people waiting to scream at you if you don't get it right, and know that's all that you can do. All you can do is your very best. And if people think that you can give more than that, well, they're just wrong. If you need to hear that from someone, I'm here to say it to you. All you can do is your best. It would be easy to just disappear underneath the blankets for one more day. And I know it can feel like a battle to throw the blankets off, to jump in the shower, to get dressed and go out there and meet the day. And you need to do the very best that you can. And if today is a day, like I felt like I could make it, I could get here today, I could set everything up on my own, I'm going to get this done. If you're having the kind of day where you know that you can stand tall because you felt inspired by something, you discovered the fortitude, you were maybe a little bit shocked to discover what your personal bandwidth was, then stand tall and reach out to the other members of your wrestle family, the people at your home promotion, your training mates, the people that put in the bumps in the ring with you whenever we're allowed to be taking bumps in a class, training for the thing that we love again. Stand tall and help lift them up. Because I guarantee you today, there's somebody in your extended family, there's somebody in that ensemble who needs your help. Help lift them up, and know that on the days when it is you who needs to be lifted up, that one of them will be able to stand tall, and they're going to help you up onto your feet as well. That is community. That is the strength of what we have. And if you feel disconnected from your community, if there's no way that you think, well, how can we all kind of feel that sense of togetherness, then find it. Leverage what you do have available to you. Find some internet tool, some group chat, some method of video conferencing, and you be the lightning rod that assembles the group so that you can feel that sense of togetherness and community. Rediscover the strength that we all have in numbers, and know that you might hear dissenting opinions, right? If you're willing to engage in real conversations that we all need to be having right now, like what's going on with my own group, we might have disagreement about what is appropriate, but at least have those conversations. At least try. At least persist. Even when things seem like they are beating us down, when some new circumstance or condition rises up at any given moment to tell us, no, get back under those blankets. Don't try today. Those are the moments when most of all we need to persist. And if you by yourself aren't enough, then summon your community. Call out to your wrestle family. Inspire that togetherness. Assemble them together, because in those numbers we do have strength. And let those who are feeling emboldened enough today to stand tall for the others lift up those who are feeling weak, those who are feeling marginalized, those who are feeling beat down by everything that is going on. And when we do that, we do connect with the greater brotherhood of professional wrestling. In that lies our strength. Persist, my friends. Persist.